Hello.
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 Kalimera. Hi.
I like to worry. Like I'm bloody early. I've got an event on Saturday. Just always. And I feel that this is it's through our creative work that we can write back and rewrite and create a contemporary post-colonial that is new and something different. And I think that's exactly what our project's going to do, because it's ticking all of the stuff that I teach in terms of contemporary. We are actively doing that. You know, we're being experimental with genres, interdisciplinary. So, and however you feel we should write to that, I'm happy with that. I just feel in terms of when people, so if I'm going to attend a festival, I look at that, it's that description and it's the title that's going to bring me there.
What about if it was named Taking Back the Booty?
Taking back the what?
The booty.
The booty, yeah.
The colonialists have looted all this stuff from us and tried to loot our culture, and men have tried to loot us too. But we're getting back all our booty, we're getting all our treasures back, and we're sassy about it.
Ariadne has left now, she can't hear northward.
I like what you're singing, Maria. What is it?
It's one song I wrote a while ago. Yeah.
What's it about?
It's called The Labyrinth. It's about the myth of Ariadne and Theseus.
Is that the one where Ariadne had the thread and she gave it to Theseus?
Yes, to go into the labyrinth and kill the Minotaur.
Funny that the Minotaur and Ariadne are siblings, huh?
Are they?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yes, they're both children of that, I forget her name.
Pasiphae. Of course you forget her name because they wrote her out of the story.
Why do they do that?
They always write women out of the story.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's always the men who write it.
We, the men of Crete, are the most powerful of the East Mediterranean. We rule the sea. The most civilized, most courageous, most powerful forces of the Mediterranean Sea and land.
The men, that's all about.
Our downfall has always been women. And it is this Pasiphae who ruined her husband, the almighty King Minos, our almighty Crete, our almighty empire. She, like all the women, is a dark, deceitful liar who knows not her evil self, is weak, and has no control over her mind, body, emotions, and desires. No knowledge of physical, social, and mental spaces. We must keep her in the shadows, as we did her beastly bastard son.
Now she gets mentioned. Yeah. When they need someone to blame.
Chase me, lust, hunt, persecute, burn me, the maiden, the virgin, the seductress, the mother whose womb you crave to crawl back
into the hag, the mad, for which you despise, pity, resent, and fear. I follow the moon. Inanna. The first, before Ishtar, before Aphrodite, before men built walls, corridors, labyrinths, with no compass, no bearings, brick mortar, isolation, despair. Trapped, we grew hooves, tails, curled horns, snouts, muscle, fat and sinew, thick mute tongues. And we forgot, yes, we forgot to follow the moon.
Bahir, Bahir, Bahir. Deniz, Thalassa, sea. Poisoned by truths. All shining truths of space. Truths of sea. Adulterous balls with brothels and bedtime stories. So many goddesses have betrayed, bullied, broken me. So many goddesses have been betrayed, bullied, broken by me. We are goddesses, whores, witches of the sea. Disconnect. Undocumented, nameless, cultless, without children. 3 decades, 3 place names, free. Spatial tripling, I cannot navigate. 3 witches' cauldron took her in. 3 goddesses' cult took her in. 6 witches' cauldron took her in. 6 goddesses' cult took her in. 9 witches' cauldron took her in. 9 goddesses' cult took her in. She drank it. It drank her. Tripping the red-haired woman of the sea. Bahir, Bahir, Bahir. Deniz, Thalassa, sea. The book of navigation. Kitabi Bahriye. She saw it from the sea, you see. Name games, number games, competing maps, complex tales, lost in trails, competing maps, complex tales, lost in trails. Childhood bedtime stories narrated by her grandmothers. Read bedtime stories narrated by your grandmothers. She hid in the spaces of forbidden games and desires. A ball from the sea. I see it from this balcony. Cyprus, the balcony of the Mediterranean. The ball rests on the shore on the island. And I won't be a ball from the sea. Like you, all I have is the ball from the sea. Poisoned by truths, truth, 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 all shining truths, truth. A spatial tripling triad I can navigate. It's from the book of Bahriye. I understood my sense of belonging, of no belonging to belonging in a sight of uncertainty between 2 then 3 through a European man who gave me the tools with a very special formula. A spatial tripling triad. Coded and decoded. It's magic, it's a potion, it's secret, it's dangerous. It's power. Now come close and listen. I will share. Shh. Come close, it's just for us. Okay, my 3 goddesses, okay, my 6 goddesses, okay, my 9 goddesses. It's a spaceology. Shh. You will be a rhythm analyst. Shh. It will take back the booty. It will give you the power of looting, to read and control the looter, to be the looter. Shh. Now listen. Ba-bum.
Ba-bum.
Ba-bum. Ba-bum. Ba-bum. Listen to my body, your body, his body, her body. Listen to my social body, physical body, mental body. Live it, perceive it, conceive it. Ba-bum. Ba-bum. Hear it, grasp it, sense it, feel it. Ba-bum. Ba-bum. Conceive it, perceive it, live it. Conceive it, perceive it, live it. Conceive it, perceive it, live it. These rhythms of your body, listen, analyze, analyze, analyze. Now we are the rhythm analysts. We read, write, construct space from body within, deep in, then to outside, to a physical space that we perceive. A mental space that we conceive. A social space that we live. A space for myself, ourselves, yourselves, all selves, no selves. A space for the self that exposes. Conceived mental space, perceived physical space, produced by official powerful minds. So to prioritize the lived social space created by the unofficial East Mediterranean mind. Yes, we captured the truth of space for differential space. Thus, he made me, she made me, they made me a powerful woman. I made me a powerful woman. To see that space produced serves as a tool of thought, action, control, domination. Yes, I have the power to read the production, to construct it, to control it, to make, conceive, perceive, live space, to make social, mental, physical space, to make and break abstract and concrete space. So to capture the truth of space. Yes, yes, prioritize the lived social body. The social, the concrete, human relations. So to create differential Nicosia, Ramallah, Britain, Cyprus, Beirut, Paris. So to create differential Cyprus, Mediterranean world. A ball from the sea, I see it from this balcony, and I will be with the ball from the sea. Officials in the north, in the south, in the centre, Imperial Mother Centre London, Imperial Ethnic Mother Centre Athens, Imperial Ethnic Mother Centre Ankara, in east, in west, in centre. Soon you will be tripping on the truth from this differential potion. From the witch's cauldron, from the goddess it's called, made by me. Says I, says she, says me, says I, the red-haired woman of the sea.
Light, more light, all light, the all shining. Truth, more truth, all truth, it's hiding. Lust, more lust, all lust, is it rising? Love, more love. All love, all light, all truth, all lust, all love, love, all human, all woman, all one. Seeing light, desire, trust, shine, it shines. They're all assigned, all shining, all shine, all shadows, all Is it the joker, the clown, the nurturer, the witch? Is it the thinker, the artist, or the scared girl in need? Is it a fake that you seek? Is it a mask, or is it me, the lost, the wanderer for long, the wanted all, the care for none, the wanted not, the care for all? Who is it that you want? Is it a fake or is it me? Is it a mask or is it me? There's pain in what shines. There's shine in the shadow. This shadow is blinding.
I resign.
I resign.
I resign.
I resign today. I give in my resignation. I resign from asking Daedalus to make and break me into you. I resign from trying to walk, talk, stalk like a man in a white university. I resign from breathing in, you are not enough.
You are enough.
Imerketi.
Yeterli değilsin.
I am enough.
I resign from trying to conceal. I am a lifelike cow who wooed the white bull. I resign from trying to reveal it. I resign from trying to conceal I grew in Dagenham. I resign from trying to reveal it. I resign from trying to conceal my grandmothers are illiterate. I resign from trying to reveal it. I resign from trying to conceal I am a Turco-speaking Muslim Cypriot woman. I resign from trying to reveal it. I resign from trying to prove to the heads of men disseminating knowledge I am enough.
Imerketi.
Yeterliyim.
I am enough.
I resign from trying to be them. I resign. I give in my notice with this letter. Dear Sir, I'm writing to give notice of my resignation. 10 years in academia, I now realise I am not fit for this job. I will tell you, sir, of how I got there, or here, sir. I will tell you of who I am, sir. And then, dear sir, you will say, dear sir, yes, it is time for you to leave. I was born at a time when immigration laws changed, when doors closed, factories bankrupt, when parents worked from 7 a.m. to 4 a.m. Drumt, drumt, drumt,
Track-tick-tack. Track-tick-tack.
drumt, 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 tick-tack, drumt, tick-tack. Sir, my parents are refugees. She at 15 forced to marry, he at 15 journeyed with the boat people. They worked, I lived. My first memory, a seamstress fainting. My last, a black midwife from the Caribbean. It didn't feel right to me, being here, being there. So, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Turk, I speak Turkish, I hate the Greeks hate me. All Nan's words and worlds. I resign, dear sir, because I prayed to Allah to help me secure a book contract, but Allah never listens. My grandmother sold me. No, she told me. She told me of how they sold her sister. I resign, dear sir, because I am unable to pretend that there is no wounded bellies in black magic with pigs' heads hanging on doors and sold daughters' fingers, faces on fingernails and boat people. I resign, dear sir, because I will no longer reveal it as exotic. I resign, dear sir, because when I sit in meeting rooms, I cannot see me, I cannot hear me. I resign, dear sir, because I will no longer act white, act Muslim, act academic, act working class. I will no longer act, dear sir. I resign, dear sir. I give in my notice, dear sir, because, dear sir, I ate the bull's body and Daedalus's brain to produce these spatial truths
for me and my goddesses.
I resign from choosing you over me.
I resign from being a good girl, a good daughter, a good wife, a good mother, a good lay.
I resign from every role assigned.
Yes. That's right.
We, the men of Crete, were defeated by the warriors from Athens, who travelled across the sea, bringing with them Theseus, their golden-haired hero. With the aid of our treacherous women, Persephone, who created the beast, and Ariadne, who created the circumstance for him to win, Theseus slayed the abomination of Persephone's womb, the Minotaur. Theseus, the irresistible, powerful hero. But in an attempt to topple the patriarchy, Ariadne only helped to reinforce it.
Had I had a son, I teach him to fold his privilege and store it in a good place until he could put it to good use. Not occasionally, not selectively, not when it suits his own purposes or society's grand narratives. I tell him to not be blindfolded by it. No, that can't be right. Had I had a son, I teach him what being privileged must really mean. Had I had a son, I'd reassure him that it's fine to cry if he wants to and whenever he feels like it. To cry tears of joy, tears of sorrow, and most importantly, tears of empathy. I teach him to disregard the musts, to disobey the masses if he has to, in order to preserve his right to live in a world that is just. Had I had a son, I teach him to hold his horses, anchor his ships, lay down his guns, and think and feel and clear his mind before he sets out to fight. Before he sets out to colonize, to conquer, to defeat, to overpower, to overthrow, before he demands any laurels or Lawrence that society, or his privilege for that matter, has convinced him he's entitled to have. Had I had a son, I'd lull him each night with many a fascinating story about history's great heroes from history's day one. Then I'd wake him up with solid proof that history is written by the victors, hence history is an oppressive construct. And I'd repeat and repeat until he's capable to read, to really read between his lines and get to know both sides before he chooses to adopt one. Had I had a son, I'd tell him to not be enticed by anyone who's still holding out for a hero till the end of the night, meaning to not buy into any societal stereotype that obscures the fact that no woman is a hero, because each human can be one, not necessarily the hero type of hero, you know, the one who's racing on thunders and rising with heat, fighting odds and killing beasts, killing in the name of indifferent of the pain the killing brings. Had I had a son, he'd be able to see that the funny thing about heroes is that, depending on perspective, their good and bad sides are identical twins. Had I had a son, I'd demand that he becomes a human before he dares name himself a man. I'd urge him to gaze at his body from the inner side, all water and bones and organs and veins and blood, colorless, genderless, classless, and borderless, equal to every single one, and hopefully, being brought up like that, when his privilege would bring somebody in a compromising position, he would be able to reposition so that he would lend a hand instead of taking up arms. For had I had a son, he would know that the ultimate privilege is being able to use your own privilege for flattening out the wrongs of the privileged man. And so eventually, when my son would be faced with a minotaur, he would be capable to look him in the eye and recognize within another mother's son.
You hold my virginity at the tip of your cock. Its value, star rubies, blood sacred smears, thighs, spread, coating, wrapping you as my lips latch on when you tear into me. I am taken by the sword, consecrated by your seed. I am your chosen whore, enshrined within you, profane and blessed, the vessel for your children, each part of me an offering at your altar, my mouth, my hands, my cunt. And you will weave stories as you drive into me. The tales you forge are steel between marshmallow thighs, filigree word pounded by hammer and anvil into cage. I read them backwards from within the pen I am held. I decipher them and swallow it all. You like that? I read daughter, wife, mother, cleaner, orifice. Selfless, self-sacrificing, self-forgetting, self-doubting, obliterated into my skin. The cage of words and definitions of being woman has rooted, sprouting with brutal speed. It climbs and tangles. I take on its colors, grey and lifeless, its curved contours beautiful, binding. The words forged are an integral part of who I am now. Invisible. My hair in tufts, in my hands. My voice raspy, gravel, blood, lips, hoarse scream, body blue, purple, yellow, fists raw, walls silent. Hysteria is a diseased womb. Only women contract ailments such as these, you know. So emotional, unreasonable, only women. With your spade hands and flint muscles, strike me down, sedate, lull, shame, tame the wild, wispy vine, prune, hack, dominate. Submission is a container made of baubles and silks dyed indigo. It is a pat on the head and a slap on the arse. It is the stories you've woven that are embedded in me and are now my truth, my religion. It is opening my legs or bending over. It is swallowing the words you used to forge the cage.
Those clad in power, the patriarchs, demand the meek, oppress the weak. But I am a solar system, not a black hole. They demand I be a bride, an empty vessel, a tasty trifle, a cherry singing itself red. But I am a titan, not a teasing tassel. Men behind bars and women behind veils, children behind desks and followers behind pews. Men of the cloth far behind the times. I will not wear or wave your white weaves, for I am not a virgin and will not surrender. I am clad in the sun and all the burning stars.
Man, I feel like a woman.
Patriarchy may be a male social construct, but it is a privilege of the men in power.
That's right.
And oh, how so many men exist without power.
That's right.
And are reminded of that every day. You poor, humiliated man. Now do you understand? Yeah. You think he does?
You think?
One would hope.
Real men protect. Real men procreate. Real men provide. Real men must be strong. They don't cry. They don't show weakness. Don't show emotion. Don't show love. They fight. They are hard. Must be tough.
No.
Must be a winner, because if you're not a winner, you're a loser. Real men don't cross their legs tightly, but rather suit their legs spread wide. Real men respect their mothers. Drink whiskey. Real men have to carry things. Aren't afraid. Afraid of commitments. Competitive. Career-driven. Must open doors for a woman. Must not open doors for a woman. Must pay the bill. They must not pay the bill. Must be the one to ask a woman out on a date.
I don't know.
Must be the one who proposes marriage. Must not be gay.
Oh.
Real men should know how to please a woman. They should give up their seat for a woman. They should not give up their seat for a woman.
Which is
Real men don't let their wives work.
Who knows?
Real men let the wives work. Real men
us work.
don't wear earrings. They do all the driving. Because women are bad drivers. Real men don't do any housework. Real men help out around the house. Real men don't do any housework.
What?
Real men don't cook. They eat meat. Real men barbecue well. Real men make the best soba. Real men chop wood. And enjoy working outdoors, all with their hands. Real men know they are more important than women.
What?
Earn more money than their woman. Real men don't become nurses or stay at home dads. They are not feminists or wimps. Real men must be gentlemen. Real men don't wear fancy clothing or worse, effeminate clothing. They must be the breadwinners of the family. Must be ambitious. Must know how to fix things. Must take the garbage out. They must be manly. Real men must be powerful. Highly regarded in the field. Competitive. in charge, earning respect, persuasive, socially confident. A man must always be courageous, be leaders and assertive. A man should be tall and have broad shoulders,
All about the
be
shoulders.
buff, have a square jaw,
The
deep
jaw.
voice. Above all, a man must man up and must always be the hero.
The hero. There you got it. Hero. The hero.
Our king's rebellious daughter, Ariadne, thick with lust and yearning for the irresistible good of Theseus, was responsible for our downfall.
Oh, it's her
for
desire,
our
right?
loss
That's
of the
what ruined
power of
everything.
the sea.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Unable to control her desire, she
there you go.
handed him the ball of yarn
Like you.
that would
Women
be
can't
his
control
means to
themselves.
navigate the labyrinth and his escape to victory
We gotta put an end
against
to
us.
Yeah, no. I'm tired of this. I'm
Theseus,
so tired of this.
her lover, her hero. Aware of her contaminated beginning, being and becoming, he
Contaminated. Yeah, she's a
abandoned her
virus,
in
huh?
exile.
Absolutely.
For who could love such a wanton woman?
Wanton. She's wanton now.
Dad, I'm sorry I don't fit in any of your boxes. For being an unmarried job hopper, a PhD holder with a fuck motherhood stance. Dad, I'm sorry I quit my well-paying job. It wasn't exactly a lifelong plan to be placing my autograph monthly on a nasty blue card, but it has been my plan to stop being a servant and start being of service. So Dad, forgive me that, and I'll forgive your not knowing that unemployed doesn't mean I'm productive. That being unmarried doesn't mean I'm a slut. It just means that the last man I loved gave me nothing but nothing, plus a stab on the back. And not giving you a grandchild doesn't make me a self-centered brat. It makes me a good mom in advance.
Hell yeah.
Just look around you. Is this really a world for a child?
No, Dad. I'm not worried about growing older. I'm just worried about growing weary, you see. My enemy has never been time. My enemy has always been us. And speaking of humans, you who have all the answers, explain me how. One moment we lament a land that is burning, the next we should fire at an innocent man. One moment we panic for the rising sea levels, the next we push children into mass liquid graves, and it's not okay.
It's not okay.
That you told me to always stick with the masses. See that? I cannot hashtag my stance. I cannot really take sides when I'm left to decide between fascists and the fascist breeding machine. That I'm falling off society's axis, and you ask if I'm having an identity crisis? Damn right I am. And if we're to be saved, then our leading mistakes should have identity crisis much worse than mine, and then they'd resign, but I don't think they can. I bet they love their boxes. I bet they love your boxes, but that's not who I am. And I know you understand, but lifting the shades is not quite enough. And neither is enhancing the space. Deal with it. I was never one for a cubic shape. Never one for a cubic shape.
Go, girl.
Yeah. Never one for a cubic shape.
So Dad, do not negotiate the boxes. Deconstruct the boxes and look at your daughter, the way she flows, the way she grows, the way she becomes.
I may have reached higher peaks by now, Had I not kept moving myself and my shadow aside to appease men and their insecurities? I may have climbed higher peaks by now, had I not been paralyzed by the fear of a success that would stand me so far apart from others. I may have built higher peaks by now, had I had the courage to learn and do more, and not worried about fitting in and putting out. I may have explored higher peaks by now, had I not been afraid of the power of my own mountains, their suggestiveness, seductiveness, and sorcery. My peaks are now treasured in my arsenal. I am no longer afraid to provoke fear or paralysis, for those stunted by me need not stand by me.
Reem?
Yeah.
You're coming over.
Oh,
Manuella.
yeah,
Manuella,
really.
you're coming over. Sure. Where's Bahriye?
Damn COVID.
COVID. Yes.
I was never going to be an old lady, if you know what I mean. Varicose veins, back problems, passive-aggressive love, whiplashing you into your place, layering guilt like lashings of honey butter on freshly baked cornbread at Thanksgiving. I was going to be Mother Earth sitting in lotus, my hand outstretched like Jesus, while the masses dipped their heads to receive benediction from a sage matriarch. That's the future I envisioned for myself. But I fear I don't have it in me. I seem unable to age gracefully.
Yeah.
In fact, I think I might be aging rather disgracefully. I seem to be morphing into a loud, hairy-legged anarchist with a Frida Kahlo-esque moustache framing my lips, because who really cares about waxing? Where once I had a filter whereby I could be satisfied with just rolling my eyes and thinking, what a tosser. Now I just say what I think out loud. It requires too much effort to suppress it, and I seem to have lost my ability to give a shit. I find pleasure in swearing. The words taste luscious in my mouth, full and delectable. I love whistling with my fingers sitting with my legs apart, laughing out loud with all my heart, drinking beer directly from a bottle, and other such unladylike behaviour. Perhaps this is a result of decades of sitting with legs crossed, mouth stopped, being agreeable and smiling, putting everyone at ease, even after yet another inappropriate advance or comment. Perhaps I am fed up with all the shaming from society, but worst of all, my fellow women. I'm not house-proud enough, classy enough, thin enough, elegant enough, a good enough mother. Perhaps it's because I've tamed myself, because no one likes an angry woman. My passions bridled because I never wanted to be labelled hysterical. Maybe it's because I've diminished myself so that no one would feel unwelcome around me. Yes, women. We have been trained well.
Yeah, we have.
But I, for one, have had enough. You see, there's less of my life left for living, and I have to be selective to the type of bullshit I'm willing to listen to and endure. Perhaps it's because I'm tired of being restricted and held in my place that I find bras impossible, clothes, while necessary, in this case, less is definitely more. Diets? Who the hell has time for that? Or the energy to waste on it? Or the discipline? I have ADD. If I'm going to concentrate really hard on something, it's going to be to write, paint, or achieve as many orgasms as I can. So I say, one should definitely suck all the marrow out of life while there is still some marrow to suck. Screw Birkenstocks, Scholes and Crocs and other practical/hideous shoe apparel. I'm going to my grave in 5-inch red stilettos, because if I'm going to kick the arse out of life, I'm going to do it in scarlet fuck-me heels. Screw dressing age appropriately. I know what that really means. It means dressing invisibly. Are women over 40 too much of an eyesore? Oh, I'm sorry. Do my less than perky boobs not do it for you? Not get you off at night? Oh, sorry for the inconvenience, but I quit. This is my letter of resignation, effective immediately. I am no longer your sex toy. Unless I choose to be, of course.
Okay.
I'm no longer your wanking material by default, i.e. because I am a woman. Enough! I'm done. I quit. I resign. I am tearing up all those unspoken contracts about being a woman, being ladylike and being respectable. You can find someone else to do that job. I, for one, am determined to paint my lips red, age appropriateness be damned, wear a skimpy bikini or better yet nothing at all, neither ashamed nor proud of my curves and rolls. I'm going to uncross my legs and woman spread because I'm allowed to take up space.
Yes, girl.
Dance barefoot at a club, the dirt caking under my feet, unladylike, unsexy, unclassy, unsanitary, undone, unfucking believably fun. Because the reality is, no, I'm not mellowing like a fine wine in my old age. I'm festering like a stinky blue cheese because I am done, kaput, finished from the aging gracefully bullshit club. I have defaulted, defected, deserted, and this is my final letter of resignation, effective immediately.
I say boom, 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 no one's about to say well. They say boom, 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 now let me hear say well. I say boom, boom, boom.
This is the journeys that Bahriye has been on.
Oh my goodness.
To a lot of places.
Do we know where she is here?
Connecting cultures as always.
She sent me a letter.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I know she thinks of me.
She said that she's been to Marrakesh, Martinique, Myanmar, Guatemala, Palestine, Tibet even.
Let's say that. Such a nice girl.
Where's that? Myanmar.
It was Myanmar, Guatemala, and then she passed
Yeah.
Ladies up in here tonight. No fighting. We got the refugees. No fighting. No fighting. Shakira, Shakira. I never really knew that she could dance like this. She make a man wanna speak Spanish. She got you. Boop, boop, zoom, boop. Nobody wants to. Refugees, cause we on our own boat.
I'm on tonight.
Look, that's her. Oh, there she is. So many connections, huh?
Yes.
An invisible red thread connects those who are destined to meet. That's love.
I remember when I was at school, they treated me like I was a boy.
School plays, they made me the hairy man, like the fat nurse, Medusa, High Hitler, some mad teacher. Like, they never made me Juliet because I wasn't fit enough.
I'm a maniac, mashing the brain, by parole in the show.
Oh, God.
The stain
Oh,
of
no,
our
no.
mighty civilization was the mind
That's
enough of this guy.
Enough.
Enough already.
that Pasiphae gave birth to after fornicating
taking the popcorn with me.
bull from the sea. Pasiphae's primal urges contaminated our pure nation, and her hybrid beast destroyed our power. We hid this monster in a labyrinth and pacified him with human sacrifices.
Pure nation that give away human sacrifices.
Yeah.
A little bit of an oxymoron, no?
I was born in displacement. From the Nile to the womb to the world, ever displaced, confined to the prescribed, pre-designed, man-produced space I'm supposed to temporarily feel as if I own it, as if it's made by measure, as if it's me. I wear my identity on my sleeve, my identity which has never been me, ever compliant. I was spat out on earth, unasked, uninvited, involuntarily displaced at birth, an antimatter. I was born in displacement. From the Nile to the womb to the home from the world to the tomb, from the tomb to the nothing at all. 2 numbers on a gravestone and no return for which too long. I was born displaced, unasked, uninvited, never certain in any way. I was never sure what was Nile, what was home, what was the world. But I was always sure about the tomb, the only certain place. So as a puppet, human, puppet, I know that I might not belong to my life, but I do belong to my exodus. The only thing that doesn't evade me, the only thing I am sure of. My exodus is where I belong.
To treat these or even cure some of these diseases of the mind has been a dream of mine since I was very young. Eddie's really been doing pioneering work on recording activity from the human brain. And so when he, first heard about this project, he approached me and we started brainstorming about it. And it just sounded like, an opportunity that, I couldn't pass up. We're here today to
You hate
discuss
yourself
an exciting
at
new
times,
project that we're about to launch.
as if it was your fault that the stars aligned in such a way to give you this particular set of DNA. You hate yourself at times, as if the hormones that flow in your brain were not the guilty party in this chemical cocktail that we all are. You hate yourself at times, as if somehow it were your fault you were given a car with a pedal that goes from 0 to 100 in 2.5 seconds, but the brakes don't work and you are on a fast track to a head-on collision. You hate yourself at times because your lungs gasp for breath like the tangled, exposed roots of the mangrove tree reaching for air above ground, but there is not enough air in the world to fill you and make you whole and give you the life you wish you could have. You hate yourself at times. And I hate that you hate yourself at times, because I adore you always, my beautiful, beautiful child.
We don't actually know how they work, and that might be fine if they work great, but they don't. The idea is to learn how this complicated large-scale brain circuits work, then this BMI should be able to detect this abnormal activity and electrically stimulate some areas to alleviate these symptoms. What's really exciting about this project is we're going to look at these disorders and the things in the brain that cause these disorders in a way that no one has ever done.
I am an apple far from the tree on which the seeds I grew from were first conceived. I grew on a tree that longed for the winds and the sun of the orchard from which it had been forcibly plucked as a sapling. I never saw that orchard, but every day I smell the jasmine that grew on nearby vines and the smoke that rose from the ashes after it was burned by a foreign farmer preparing to plant in it his foreign seeds. I hear the cooing of the doves that perched on the trees and the sound of the plows that pulled them out, cutting and separating roots that had been harmoniously intertwined. The foreigners' trees now populate the nutritious land on which I would have been rooted, and so I feel rootless. The foreigners' trees now look out onto the sea that would have infused my flavor with a scintillating salty air, and so I taste bitter. How am I to be rooted in one soil when my leaves long for the winds that blew over another I have not known? How am I to reclaim my land, my rights, without uprooting the innocent children of foreign farmers who stole my identity in order to create for themselves a new one? I yearn to say, to sing,
Palestine, you are free!
Never again repressed will you ever be. But how? How does one bring forth justice without causing injustice? How does one face their demons without becoming one? Shame on you for your greed, your oppression, your demonization of me.
Poisoned by truth of space. Buffering in the buffer zone. Crossing north-south checkpoints, east-west checkpoints, captures, Mediterranean fractures. Documents without names, nameless offspring of back and forth to give and receive documents, a stateless offspring of an avenue along the river, Shakespeare Avenue, Maghribi Street, when he was told he is a stranger to his name. Offspring of Whips Cross on Maghribi Avenue, when I was told 9 months ago you had to change my name. Red flag, blue flag, white flag. Helin Ziki Zaitin, Malakia.
Donkey on my donkey. They killed my father. They are true Cypriots. Magic words of bedtime stories. Nino Bambakai. All the names you ever know, they are not dissolving. The book of Bahriye. Sea, Thalassa, Denise. She saw it from the sea, you see. She hid in the spaces of forbidden games. Away from the sea, I see it from this balcony. It rests on the shore, on the island of Cyprus, the balcony of the Mediterranean Sea. Away from the sea, I see it from this balcony, and I won't be away from the sea. Cyprus is in the margins of their poem, the Kurd and the Arab, the Armenian and the Maronite. Like you, all I have is the wave and the wind from the sea. Poisoned by truth, I am a Zionist, physical form of your occupation. Her nan, my nan, plants her headless chicken in our garden. Her mum and dad, your mum and dad, my mum and dad, reconstruct their refugee childhood in your land, our land, my land, your land. Get my family out. Leave, let them use their key. Throw away your key. On my wedding night, my nan gave me her 3 keys from her bridal home. Truth? I am a Palestinian. They sold my great aunt, the most expensive girl in the village. Trees are not the ribs of my childhood. Truth? I am unfit. You will not write Cyprus, they say. She can't write Cyprus, they say. It's off the map. She doesn't fit. You will change your name, they say.
Beware the women who will ensnare and try to dominate.
What's that?
They will be your
Oh! Enough! Oh.
No. That cannot be the narrative anymore.
Once you enter, there's no escape, no escape, no escape, no escape, no escape, no. It's okay to differ, just don't let them know. This is